The Xiaomi Redmi 5. Sundar reviewed it a while back here on C4 Tech, but given that it's now launched in India and we've got a cool matte black variant in the house, I didn't also have any other phone to test. So I decided to spend a week with this phone, see how it fares. So in today's video, let's take a second look at the Redmi 5. This time with the Indian pricing and the Indian consumer in focus. Now before we get to it, if this is your first time here or if all those flash sales have you turned around, my name's Ash, you're watching C4 Tech. Here's a card to our latest giveaway. We'll also leave a link in the description below, and while you're down there, please turn on notifications by clicking that bell icon. Let's now get started. Now what makes the Redmi 5 different from its predecessors is its display, and that's as good a place as any to start, I guess. The Redmi 5 is one of the cheapest phones with a 18:9 panel. The metal to the back remains more or less the same, but this display looks beautiful. That said, personally I am a tad disappointed. Now let me explain. Last year, with the Redmi 4 Prime, probably the best value for money phone Xiaomi has ever launched, they offered a Full HD display on a Redmi. Nope. Not the Redmi Note, but a Redmi. Well, that phone never made its way over to India. I thought maybe the Redmi 5 will sport a Full HD or Full HD Plus display, and the fact that it didn't is definitely a little bit disappointing. Now that said, this is still one of the best HD Plus displays we've come across. 1440 by 720 pixels spread across the larger 5.7-inch IPS panel results in a 280 pixel per inch pixel density. The viewing angles are excellent, no issues with brightness either. So it's a respectable display. The trimmed down bezels and lack of capacitive keys means this phone, it's still quite easy to handle. It's not as single-hand usage friendly as the Redmi 4, but for a phone with a display this big, it's surprisingly easy to wield. One of the main reasons for this is the fact that the Redmi 5 is 1mm thinner than its predecessor and just 7 grams heavier. And how Xiaomi achieved this is by reducing the battery capacity by 800 mAh. It's just 3300 mAh now. And here's where my experience with the Indian unit kinda differed from Sundar's with his Chinese unit. Now this is what Sundar had to say in his original review of the Chinese variant of the Redmi 5.
The Redmi 5, despite sporting just a 3300 mAh battery compared to its predecessor's 4100 mAh unit, managed to last 2 full days on a single charge, consistently through my 2 weeks of testing. And we are talking about moderate to heavy usage here. My routine includes a lot of social media loitering, phone calls for 30 minutes, streaming media for an hour or two, checking mails, a lot of push notifications, some casual gaming, and occasional use of cameras. The battery life here was seriously impressive.
But for me, the battery life wasn't as impressive. Sure, it did get me through a day of regular use, but it didn't last me more than that. I'd end the day safe with about 20% left, but the days of my Redmi ending the day with 50% left, like with say the Redmi 4 or the 4 Prime, no, that wasn't happening anymore. The battery life is still good, but it's not close to the 2-day battery life anymore. What is still the same though is the fact that Xiaomi's retained that 3.5mm headphone jack. The output's okay. The single internal speaker was quite loud and clear. Cellular reception and call quality were very good too. As far as the internals go, Xiaomi's offered a good upgrade here by going with a Snapdragon 450 chip for the Redmi 5. It is much better than the 435 on the Redmi 4. It even uses the same GPU as the Snapdragon 625 found on the Redmi Note 4 and the Note 5. Now given that the Redmi 5 sports a lower resolution display than these phones, it fared very well when it came to GPU intensive tasks. With day-to-day usage, the hardware inside coupled with MIUI 9 kept things fast and fluid for the most part. Yes, there was the occasional hitch when scrolling through a loaded Twitter feed or while having multiple Chrome tabs open, but that was more the exception than the norm and can pretty much be expected on any phone in this price segment. RAM management also felt a little better on the Indian variant. It is a little disappointing that the phone's launched in India now, but it still doesn't have Oreo. Anyway, moving on, let's now talk camera. The Redmi 5 sports a single 12-megapixel snapper to the back with an f2.2 aperture and 1.25 micron sized pixels. Under good lighting conditions, it fares quite well. Dynamic range isn't bad, there's a good level of detail, images do tend to get a little warm at times, but for the most part it was smooth sailing. And a low light, as expected from a camera in this segment, the quality dropped. The images aren't great, but they're still usable. When it comes to video, we've got Full HD at 30 frames per second. The quality is okay, dynamic range is quite good. Sadly, the focus hunting issue still exists. Really wish Xiaomi would fix this. As far as selfies go, the 5 megapixel camera is definitely more than adequate for your regular Instagram and Facebook uploads. It isn't anything special, but it is quite adequate for day-to-day use. And with that, let's get to price. Xiaomi has hiked the price of the base variant this time. It's 8,000 rupees compared to 7,000 in the past. The 332 and 464 variants though are priced similar to the Redmi 4's launch prices. Now at these rates, the Redmi 5 does offer good value. I especially like the matte black and lake blue variants. They do look quite different from what we generally see in this segment. That said, we can never talk about Xiaomi's pricing without mentioning Xiaomi's availability issues. Them flash sales. Xiaomi's lack of stocks corresponding to demand is definitely a huge con. So if you do want to pick this one up, you're gonna have to have a lot of patience, keep trying over and over again, plus because flash sales, frankly speaking, can get tedious to deal with. So anyway, there you have it, my 2 cents on the Redmi 5. Do you agree with what I've had to say? Do you feel I missed out on something? Let me know in the comments below. Now if you hated this video, you know what to do. But if you did like it, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below. If you've already subscribed, hit that bell icon to make sure you get notified every single time a new video goes live here on the channel. So that's it for now. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, this here is Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech, and I'm signing off. You guys have a great day.